But hey, Oklahoma's going to be facing a true freshman quarterback, most likely week 2 of the 2025 regular season. What can we expect Oklahoma versus Michigan? We'll discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you once again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. So Jay, the Oklahoma Sooners will be taking on a Michigan Wolverines team that has been mired in controversy for much of the last several years, but are an intriguing team in the college football playoff race simply because, one, they're Michigan. They won a national title just 2 years ago. And two, they are going to be one of the more experienced teams in college football this season.
Yeah, both sides of the ball, they're returning back, 13 returning starters on that roster next season. Like, that's a pretty big number if you really think about it. 8 on offense, 5 on defense. Now, granted, one of those offensive players is Davis Warren at quarterback, who we do not expect to ever see throw a ball at Michigan ever again. I don't want to be mean, while at the same time, I'm just going to be real. He fulfilled his dreams. He made something happen. We're happy for him. But that's going to be Bryce Underwood's team. The way it sounded throughout all of spring camp and ball, I mean, Bryce was the one chunking that thing. So you expect him. I don't know if Mikey Keene or Jayden Davis is going to be able to hold him back. Supposedly Underwood's that dude. But again, like you said, they're bringing back a lot of experience. Now they're refreshing some players in the wide receiver room. The Donovan McCulley pickup was kind of intriguing. That was one that Oklahoma was hardcore on. And at one point when he visited, we thought that he was going to commit.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
really
that he was
like
going to end up being... Yeah, I thought he was going to be a Sooner, but he ended up staying there in the Big Ten, doing his 1 year there and going up to Michigan. So they got him and then Anthony Simpson also out of the portal. And so for them, it's a solid refresh. And then the Justin Haynes pickup from Justice Haynes. Yeah, Justice from was it Bama? And they're trying to put together a two-headed monster in the running game again. They need another Corum/Edwards backfield, and so Haynes should help them with that. So Oklahoma's got a challenge on the defensive side of the ball. But as you mentioned, the one thing that helps them is they're going against a true freshman quarterback. Game 2.
Yeah.
With a very good chance that their head coach won't be there. Like, I get that he suspended himself for game 3 and 4, but the NCAA is going to come back and throw some additional suspensions the exact same way they did to Jim Harbaugh. So to me, the expectation potential for me is that by July, the NCAA says, we're going to go ahead and knock you out the first 6 games or the first 4. He appeals and he still has to do those 4.
Yeah, so the thing that Michigan does have going for it is that it's retained a lot of talent. I mean, they lose talent to the NFL, just like, Texas did, but they do have talent kind of waiting in the wings, guys that were part of their, 2 deep that are going to be getting more significant roles this year, especially along the defensive side. And I think that's going to be the key for Oklahoma is I think Oklahoma's defense is going to be able to do enough against Bryce Underwood to keep them from scoring a bunch of points and running away with the game. How John Mateer performs against Michigan's defense, that's going to be the key. And how Oklahoma's offensive line performs against Michigan's defensive line is going to be the key factor in the game, I think. And if they perform adequately well, then Oklahoma can win that game. If they get beat up along the offensive line and John Mateer has no time and the running game doesn't do anything, they're not going to win that game. It's going to come down to trench play. And Michigan's got some experienced dudes in the trenches. Again, guys that kind of been biding their time waiting to start. Rayshawn Benny is going to be one of those dudes at defensive tackle that you have to keep an eye on. TJ Guy at edge. These are very experienced guys with a lot of snaps under their belt, taking on more significant roles. They've got cornerbacks coming back like Jair Hill and Zeke Berry as well. So again, a lot of guys that have played a lot of snaps. it's going to be pivotal for Oklahoma in that game to get off to a good start, get the ground game going with Jaden Ott, get your offensive line some confidence so that John Mateer's not having to sit back and throw it 40, 50 times to win the football game.
That's true. You don't want to the goal for Oklahoma is to make Underwood beat them.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be, John Mateer's going to have to put up massive numbers on a really good defense to force, force Underwood to do that. Also, but the one thing we do know that Michigan's going to try to do is run down your throat. Like that's live and die running down your throat. That is the Sharon Moore offense. That's also, kind of as mentioned, is the way they're going to protect their quarterback. That's how they're going to protect him. And what helps them a lot, too, is that entire offensive line's coming back. They're bringing back thousands of snaps on the offensive line that's coming back to play. And you're like, dang, that's a lot of dudes that I did not expect to be coming back. They got a lot of offensive linemen, John. And they're bringing back with that, as you mentioned, like on their defense was ranked 12th in defense efficiency on ESPN's ranking. The offense wasn't rated very high. It was 77th, so having a new offensive setup could help. But, like I said, offensive line's come back with experience, so that's similar to how we both feel about Oklahoma is we're bringing back so many snaps. I think that's going to be what's going to be helpful to the team. So an overall 32 rank in efficiency coming back from last year. And then returning production from winter, we're waiting on the spring numbers, but 29th in the country. 64% of the production's coming back with 63% on offense, 64% on defense, which is 47th on 28th on defense, respectfully. They're going to have a lot of solid returns there. And I guess everything's going to hinge on what Justice Haynes as well as what Jordan Marshall and Bryce Underwood look like. I think that's going to be really the biggest thing that's going to make a difference for them.
I don't think they're going to be near as one-dimensional as they were when they played Texas last year. But I think that Oklahoma's defensive front, their front seven, can be as effective against Michigan's run game as Texas's front seven was last year.
I can see that.
With what Oklahoma deploys at defensive tackle with Dominic Williams, Jaden Jackson, Grayson Halton, David Stone, they're going to be really good. What they got on the edge, they're going to be really, really good, and they'll be able to slow down the run game. Kip Lewis, Kobe McKenzie, Samuel Masigo. I mean, that's one of those games where I could see a heavy, heavy dose of a guy like Kendall Daniels at Cheetah. You play bigger, or even Samuel Masigo at Cheetah, where you're playing bigger at Cheetah because you're wanting to play a more traditional 4-3 style than what you might see playing against some teams that are playing more 3-4 wide receiver sets in their base. Michigan will deploy probably more 2 tight end sets, maybe use a fullback a little bit more as they try to unlock the ground game, and then go to, their 3 wide receiver packages and more, passing situations. But Oklahoma, I mean, they're going to try to run against Oklahoma's strength. Oklahoma's been really, really good against the run over the last couple of years. Now you got to have Kobe McKenzie step into Danny Stutzman's role as that run stuffer. But I think he's got the ability and the capabilities of doing that. So that's going to be the key, man. Trench play is going to be the key. As it is in SEC play, it will be in this game. And it's going to give us a really good inclination as to what this team is made of in 2025. You win that one by 2 scores, and I think everybody's going to be feeling really good about Oklahoma's direction for the season.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you say? Like, if Oklahoma goes out there and wins that game, like what pushback do you have against Oklahoma's capability for the season?
The only thing really would be like, it's a true freshman starting quarterback on it, making his first road start against, a blue blood program. I could see that pushback, in that it's not Garrett Nussmeier that they're playing against. It's not Lenora Sellers. I could see that, but the rest of it, how Oklahoma's defensive front rushes the passer, how they stop the run, you're not going to be able to take anything away from that. How Oklahoma's offensive line protects against Michigan's defensive line, you're not going to be able to discount any of that.
Nope, not at all. And that, to me, is probably a bigger deal than we're making.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if Oklahoma finds a way, especially against this veteran defense, to put up numbers. I mentioned this in a video. We talked about this on Friday. I put a video out about John Mateer as a Heisman candidate and how he wins it. To me, this is the game. If he goes out there, he's already being hyped by everybody. So the storyline is there. The stories are there. The conversations are there. People are starting to put out their feelers to where they can say, hey, I had him ranked top 5. I had him ranked top 10. So now they can jump on the bandwagon, but it's starting to be put out there. Mateer. And because of that, he goes out there and produces against Michigan. That's when he starts the radar. Then it fast forwards all the way up, skips everybody, including Auburn, to Texas. Red River, national television. He shows out there. Boom. He is in there, and all he has to do is keep it up for the rest of the season.
Yep. 2 very high-profile games that are going to be big-time storylines for the first half of the season. How Oklahoma performs in those games will be a big factor in what their postseason aspirations look like. If they go win those games, everybody's going to be riding the Oklahoma train. If they go 1-1, people are still going to have questions. If they lose both, that Brent Venables seat is going to get a little bit hotter. So that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in and being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams. You can read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. Also, go check out the portal with Brian Smith. He's got the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to the college football landscape. Find the portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. But for Jay Smith, I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you next time. Boomer.
Sooner. Cannot wait for that Michigan game.
I cannot wait.
Hurry up.
Too far away. Let's go.
Hurry up.
Let's get this going.